Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Bahrain Now with me, your host, Bara Abdallah, as we feature some of the country's greatest talents and initiatives. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have a lot of fun with this one, as right now we have the founder of Hustle Kitchen, an entrepreneur, social media, amazing personality, all that taking place right now with this interview with Hayden Husseini. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Bara. Thank you for having me on the show.
Pleasure. You know, you just keep coming on my Explore feed.
I hope so.
All
I hope
the
so.
time.
That my job is to stalk your feed.
Great. Amazing property talks and a lot of things taking place on social media. And not only that, I mean, I still like, you know, that moment when our producer and director Mahmoud comes in. It's like, oh, you're here as what?
Yeah, as what? As what? That's a very good question.
So why did he say that?
Because Mahmoud knows many different personalities of mine.
Okay.
You know, obviously we've had quite a few businesses over the last 10 years, so
Right.
I've met him in different situations.
Okay.
And when I first met Mahmoud, obviously
Yes.
that was when I was running Flash Deals, which is
Flash
the number one
Deals.
discounts and deals app in
Crazy
Bahrain.
stuff.
And everything we do, like even like Flash Deals, is
Yeah.
based on the fact that we try to help businesses. That's actually
Right.
my motto.
Okay.
I try to help businesses as much as they can,
Awesome.
you know, to grow their sales.
All right.
So with Flash, the whole
Right.
concept was, why would you give a discount or offer the whole week or the whole month or whatever?
Right.
If you're busy, you don't need to give away a discount. But if you like, it's a Tuesday, it's 4 o'clock, your place is empty, run a flash sale.
There you go. Well,
We, you know, put people on seats at the
Okay.
right time.
and all that traffic.
And all the traffic, but the whole point of the traffic, right, is to, A, it's free marketing for your business, and B, it's like with airlines, right? So if the airline's empty, contribution pricing,
Okay.
it's better to give it an offer and have someone sitting on a seat than
Right.
fly the plane empty anyway, because it's the same capacity.
Smart. I
Yeah.
like that. So not only Flash Deals, you actually been into restaurants as well?
So I had a couple of restaurants,
Okay.
and the reason is, okay, so in 2009, I started my first marketing agency called H2M.
Okay.
And during that agency time, we had a lot of restaurant clients. I would say
Right.
more than 200.
Oh, wow.
And not just in Bahrain, like, you know, so we had an office in the UK as well.
Awesome.
We had clients in Saudi, in
Okay.
Kuwait. So I learned a lot about restaurants and marketing restaurants. Having lived in London,
Yes.
my favorite student food, or, you know, was a doner kebab.
Yes.
At
yes.
that time, there was no doner kebab restaurants in Bahrain. So we were the absolute first.
I remember that.
I missed it, and I said, what is the best way I can have it? Let's just create our own.
Our own, let's go.
And that's why it was called Londoner. It's a London doner.
I really enjoyed your food, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
I
It was
remember
a
that.
big learning experience for me. To be honest, I didn't even know how to boil an egg before opening up this restaurant.
Well, you made it.
Yeah, well, you know what? With a lot of challenges, right? So I have this personality where it's like, if I'm into a business, I
Right.
need to know exactly how everything is done.
Okay.
So even the first delivery, I delivered it myself on the bike, you know. Just to,
Motorbike.
I took the restaurant bike, had my first delivery in Jufa, and I got tipped 5 dinars. you know?
Awesome.
And then I was like, okay, but why did that happen? Is because obviously the way I speak to them, you know, being nice to them and asking for their feedback. You know, I'm the restaurant owner. So then I knew how that works. So when I go back to my drivers, I'm like, by the way, guys, you
Yeah.
should speak to customers like this, and this, you know,
Yeah.
and you can get some better tips.
There you go.
And then when it came to the food, like I said, I didn't know how to boil an egg, but I was lucky enough that I had one of the top restaurants in London were my clients for social media. So whenever I used to go there, I wasn't just sitting with the business owners and consulting with them about their social media. I'd actually ask them, can you let me go into the kitchen? Can your head chef teach me, you know? So then once, you know, I learned how to, I spent a year just cooking, right? And then I redid the whole menu myself.
Beautiful, beautiful. So marketing agency, then you went to the donor cuisine.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, the first day we opened the restaurant,
Right.
my head chef manager was telling me, it's like, don't worry, Hussein, like no one's gonna come on the first day, like this is normal. Because I was worried. I was like, you know, we haven't stress tested the kitchen yet.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't want so many people to turn up and the kitchen to crash.
Okay.
He's like, don't worry, no one will turn up. But what he didn't know is that our marketing was so good that we had 100 people waiting outside the door as soon as we opened the door after one tweet.
Imagine
and that was a problem.
That was
So
a problem.
I had
A good problem.
No, not really. I had
really?
people shouting like, "Where's my burger?
What
Where's my
is
donut?"
my
I had to
shawarma?
hide. I had to hide in the kitchen somewhere, you know. But you learn a lot. You learn a lot.
That was
you know?
beautiful. That was beautiful. So, food marketing agency, and now
Yes.
coming up with another concept, Hustle Kitchen. Look, guilty as charged.
Sure.
When I heard that, I'm like, oh, food. No.
Absolutely. You know, everyone always says, "Hustle Kitchen, is it a restaurant? Are you selling kitchenware?" No. See, a kitchen to me
Kitchenware.
is the epicenter, right? So this is the kitchen of hustling.
Okay.
So what do you need? You need sales, you need marketing, you need consultancy, you know, whatever tools you need to grow your business is there. So that's why I call it the kitchen. It's the kitchen of hustling, because your kitchen is where all the operation and the brains are in a business, right?
Amazing, amazing. So far, your services are consultancy,
Yeah.
marketing,
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah.
What else going on as well?
See, and we do big a part in media now. This is a new thing, okay? So like in the last year, we've been getting a lot involved in because, you know, obviously we create videos ourselves
Right.
and for our clients,
Yes.
right? But we're not really about advertising as like your typical ads, you know? So what I believe is that the market's changed, right? The old way of advertising just doesn't work anymore. So I didn't start Hustle Kitchen in order to become another agency like
Yeah.
every other agency out there.
Right.
We work very closely with every single client. You know, I call them, they're like part of the furniture, as far as I'm concerned, right? But the thing is, we like to tell a story. So we're about the value. So we're not interested as much in advertising your business as much as the person behind the business.
Okay.
Because people connect, right?
Right.
When the problem is that a lot of companies today, they do if you see their ads that they run online, it's always buy,
Yeah,
buy,
like call to
right?
action. Yeah.
A call to action. Call to actions are great, but the thing is that you need to come with like a high value offer. What do I mean by that? You can't ask someone to buy on the first date. There needs to be some romance in your marketing,
Okay,
right?
I love romance. I love this. Yeah.
I mean, you know, we say like it's going from Tinder to Netflix and chill. Okay. So, you know, you need to connect with them, right? So the whole point of your marketing is that the reason someone would be interested in your product, there's 3% are ready to buy right now. Okay, and these guys don't need much marketing. You know, you just tell them they're looking for a specific service.
Right.
You provide the service. If the price is right, the deal is done. But what about the other 97% of the market? They might not be interested today, but you could nurture them to eventually, when the time is right, they become your customer. And that is what we focus on.
Okay.
Right? So we call it, it's like the wider market formula. Because the money is in the 97% more than the 3%.
Right.
And when COVID came and everyone was in panic mode, right? And they're like, oh my God, don't know what's going to happen to my business. The market is bad and all of this stuff. We're like, no, actually, I mainly work with businesses, by the way. What do I mean? Like B2B sort of services, right? Not B2C. Because B2C, I feel like every other agency can handle that, doing like your typical ads and like your creatives
Right.
and
Your
all
billboards, designs, all kind of stuff.
Exactly. We think about the B2B because honestly, like a B2B service, you know, you're talking about spending 500 dinars to 5,000 dinars per client as your value.
Right.
Whereas a burger is 3 dinars. You know, how much marketing do you want to do for that 3 dinars, right? But whereas getting a 500 dinar client or 2,000 dinar client makes a big difference to your business. And when I notice that people are worried about the market is bad, what I say is you just don't have enough leads in your business, right? Because you're not worried about what's happening today, but you should have enough leads to keep you busy for the next 3 months so you can continuously be making money and scale your business.
Right.
So what happens is, if you think about a typical website that a company has, right? There's too much going on, right? There's the about us, there's like services, there's this, there's that. It's not focused. So when we come in, we build like a simple landing page, even if they have a website,
Right.
that is based on the value. And what I mean by that is we educate our customers or our potential customers as much as possible for free in the beginning. We are giving more value than you are providing us at this stage. So a lot of companies, they think, no, I don't want to share my secrets if he's not a client. But the truth is, you're not sharing your secret, because if he's not buying from you, then what difference does it make anyway?
Right. I'm sorry, because this is so interesting, to be honest with you. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's just that with all that being said right now, it's a brilliant concept, but how is that being received here in Bahrain?
Okay, it's really interesting. You know what? I don't sell anything that I don't use myself.
Okay.
Okay. So in terms of my marketing techniques that I'm talking about, I use them within my own business.
Okay.
Right? So you come onto my website, there's a free report, 6 steps in order to grow your business immediately and how to improve your sales. Totally free. So you know, there's no reason for you not to download it. I'm giving you as much value as possible. Then I've taken you from a paid ad. The problem with like advertising online, if you're doing an Instagram ad or a Facebook ad or a Google ad, you're paying for those ads.
Right.
So I want to take them off the platform and onto my platform.
Right.
Right? I just want to capture your details. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Then I'm going to give you my free report, which shows you my expertise, because I'm teaching you and educating you for free. And then I have a system which will continuously send you customized emails for the next few months, always with little tips, education. I'm educating you and nurturing you. So by the time you're ready to buy, who are you going to buy from?
Right.
Because you know, you trust the teacher more than the person running an ad.
Telling you a CTA, call to action.
Exactly.
Buy.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know you.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to make you feel like you know me, even though you've never met me. Because the whole point is, imagine we're a small business. How many staff do you need to send emails every day, to contact people every day?
Right.
Now, if you automated that, it's as if you have 50 people working for you without you even thinking about it. So the only thing that's going to happen is you've already done the hard part in the beginning by setting everything up. But by the time they're ready to buy, they're already in your lead systems and they're booking an appointment automatically themselves.
Wow.
And an inbound sale, an inbound lead, is much more receptive to you selling them than you cold calling someone who doesn't expect your call or doesn't want your call.
Love that. Wow. I mean, you gave such an amazing marketing crash course right now. You definitely are a teacher.
It's a system.
Okay.
Right? It's a full system. Now the main thing is, like, the biggest thing is, it's never about the tools. Tools are great. Right? But it's about the psychology. You see, when people are running ads, you know, they're just running a simple offer or something basic, like a picture of an item or whatever it is. But we spend the time to think about the psychology of our potential customer, you know, his hopes, his dreams, his fears, his inspirations, his aspirations. So we know how to craft our messaging and our videos and our emails, you know, in order to target the psychological trigger points to make him want to buy.
Beautiful.
So nothing is as simple as what I call hope for the best.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people do this hope for the best strategy.
Yeah, just go for it.
Just run it.
Let's go.
Who cares? Yeah. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean? No, it has to be more scientific than that.
Okay, more like a ground base of scientific proven experimentations in the field itself.
You know, the thing is, we have all the tools at our fingertips with technology. So
Right.
if you can run an ad and select females, for example, on a very basic level, if you can select females and you can select males, why would you run the same ad to females and males when you can have a specific personalized message that relates to females and another one that relates to males? Now it's more personalized. It makes more sense.
Exactly. So this is a very interesting point right now, because a lot of startup businesses over here, they just directly come to you without having this romantic relationship as they warm it up, right?
Absolutely.
So what's your tip? I mean, did you just give away the tip, or do you have something for the startup businesses?
No, see, the biggest problem I find with the startup businesses, okay, and that's just in my experience, and I'm obviously not talking about everyone.
I'd love to hear that.
Right, is that, first of all, when it comes to startups, we're actually having an interesting conversation on my podcast last night about this.
Oh, wow. And how is that going on?
It's going good. So
I've seen a bit.
So
It's
I've
amazing.
got a new co-host now as well. So we're taking the show more seriously. Before it was just for fun. Now we want to make it a regular thing.
Amazing.
Right. So a lot of the thing is, like, startups obviously have a funding problem initially. Like raising capital in Bahrain is a bit difficult for startups, for tech
Okay.
startups anyway. So by the time they've come to launch, they've almost run out of all their money anyway. So the marketing budget is not there. Whereas the thing is, like I say, no matter what your business is, the most important element of your business is income generating activity. Right? You could go design and develop as much as you want.
Right.
But if you don't have the budget to raise enough awareness of your startup, then you're dead in the water before you've started.
Wow.
And then you're almost trying to raise, and you're not getting the raise because they're like, it wasn't successful in the beginning, why should I give you more money now? So I would say, like, keep your product a simple, minimal viable product. Don't go to an agency. Try to get it done as cheap as possible just to test the water.
That's a bold statement right there.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
See, it could be contradicting to myself.
I know,
but
exactly. That's very
I
interesting.
actually care about the success of people.
Bless you.
And I believe Bahrain needs a big success story as a
Right.
startup in order for everyone else to come on board and give the funds needed and raise and whatever. We just need that inspiration, right? And so for me, I'm like, by the way, if I feel like a startup idea isn't good, well, in my opinion, let's say,
Okay.
right, then I don't want to take their money. You know, so it's not about just taking every client. So for me, it's important that if I can't give you a return on investment when you work with me, then I don't want to work with you, because then you're wasting your money, and that doesn't benefit anyone at the end of the day.
Wow.
And it's very important, like, when I talk about value-based marketing,
Right.
it's like word of mouth is everything, right?
Right.
Because no one likes being sold to, but everyone loves shopping with friends.
It's amazing.
So it's important for your friends to go with other friends and let them know about you.
It's so interesting what you're saying right now. I mean, honestly, I'm just listening to every word you're saying. It's like, I don't want to cut them off. This is valuable information.
I want to say something really important for startups.
Right.
Okay. A lot of times, people don't realize that obviously a startup is much more than a website or an application, right? It's the
Okay.
operation that goes behind it, the customer service, everything, right? That's what makes it successful or not. And I would say to entrepreneurs,
Okay.
focus 80% of your time on income generating activities and not those activities like, oh, should I change the color to blue or green or whatever it is, on
Right.
admin work and stuff.
Right.
Because a lot of people get so distracted with the admin stuff of it, right? That
Happens a lot, yeah.
by the time they're going to launch, they're tired. And if they get a few rejections because an app is worthless, if you're a marketplace, for example,
Okay.
you need merchants to work with you. You
Right.
need businesses to put their product on your app. Now that requires sales, it requires reaching out to people. And then you're going to get a lot of rejection saying, I've never heard of you before, I don't want to be on your application.
Okay.
These are the things that are the most crucial, because your app
Yeah.
is useless without the merchant.
This is very interesting. The thing is, like, with all that being said, it's like, as you go in and you explain this to clients here in Bahrain,
Yeah.
and you know, as we saw a lot of agencies taking place right now, you know, and they're too direct. You go for a presentation to the client and all of this.
Yeah.
But with the way you've been approaching, whether it's a startup, a client, and you say it's B2B mostly, that's what you focus on. Now, how is it here in Bahrain? Do you see that things are changing slowly but surely, or do you think that we need a lot of education to this matter?
I think Bahrain is getting more developed.
Okay.
Right. I think COVID, in a weird way, was a good thing, right? Because people don't take things for granted anymore. Now you want to squeeze every hour you have, every dinar you have, in order to make it work, because you know you have that worry, right?
Okay.
And you want to almost like reduce your expenses, because I think like startups specifically tend to overspend in the beginning if they're not experienced before, right? So on things that don't really matter, you know, compared to the things that do matter. So last year, I mean, when we first started Hustle Kitchen, like at the beginning of COVID, to where we are today, I see a lot of businesses taking on more of the strategies that we talk about.
Amazing.
Whether that's because that's just the trend, or whether they've seen any of my videos. Whatever I talk about,
Right.
I put out there for free.
I appreciate you for that.
I don't mind. You
Really
know what I
appreciate
mean?
you for that, definitely.
You know, so because it just annoys me sometimes, you know, like where they end up wasting money on something that's useless, you know what I mean? So at least I want to give them as much education and information that then they can go make a better informed decision themselves, whether they're going with an agency or not.
Amazing, amazing. I learned a lot. I'm sure everybody is right now. It's like, oh my God, this is such valuable information. So, you know, for our last thing going on over here, any last words to your viewers?
Last words to my viewers.
Yes.
If you're an entrepreneur, like always go with the worst expectation, okay, and hope for the best. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people have such a high expectation when they start that they get disappointed later. Just know that you're going to get beaten up along the way, and that's normal and that's fine, and don't let that deteriorate you. See, if you manage your expectation, you can keep powering through and keep going, and you're okay with that. But when you have this imaginary expectation that, month 1, month 2, I'm going to make X amount, and you don't let that disappoint you, because you have to go down in order to go back up.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for this beautiful talk right here on Bahrain Now. It's been a pleasure.
It's been my pleasure, Baram.
An honor, definitely.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hussein Husseini with an amazing marketing crash course taking place right here on Bahrain Now. Do check him out, Hustle Kitchen. All that took place right here. Ladies and gentlemen, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do to your country. One life, one love, one people. Our next guest is Beate van der Hayden from One Heart Bahrain. Well, good evening.
Good evening. Nice to meet you.
Oh, likewise.
And nice to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Thank
so,
you.
One Heart Bahrain, tell us about that.
One Heart Bahrain. Well, the title kind of explains a lot already, doesn't it? Because One Heart, we are about unity. What we're here to do is to explain to people that we are actually just one world. If you stand on the moon, what do you see? You see one world, right?
One world.
And if you had like a really good telescope, you would see a bunch of people, right?
Right.
You wouldn't see races, religions, belief systems, black, white, yellow, purple, brown, whatever, pink. You would see one people. And so this idea of One Heart Bahrain is that we are just one people. And we want to kind of promote that idea within Bahrain as a nation. And the way that we do that is through goodwill. So I'll explain, because some people don't know what goodwill means, but goodwill is just love in action. Because you can have goodwill and say, oh, I want to do something nice, but you just sit on your sofa and you never move, right? That's okay, that's goodwill, but we need action. So that's why it's love in action. Let's do something good. And this goodwill is what unites people, because when we do good for other people, we start to connect with other people.
True.
And just thinking about it is not enough. A lot of people love thinking about, and they have a lot of goodwill, but it's actually doing good. And so One Heart Bahrain is a vehicle for people who live in Bahrain to join and to do good for each other and to feel more united as a result of it. Because I don't know, have you ever done volunteering work or service work yourself?
As much as I can.
Yeah. Do you find that when you do good for others that you feel uplifted by it?
Definitely.
And you feel more connection with the people that you're helping? There is some kind of healing in doing service, doing charity, doing good, right?
It is a healing process, yes.
And so we want to give the people of Bahrain as much opportunity as possible to do good and to feel connection with other people. But it's much more than that. If you go on a much deeper level, and if we can make this One Heart Bahrain really big, we can do a lot of good. It's, like you said, you used the John F. Kennedy quote,
right.
To do good for your country, right? If we mobilize the force, the power of goodwill in this country, if we get more and more people doing good in this country, we can help this country. We can socio-economically move this country forward.
Socio-economically, I love that. Okay,
yeah, because
so putting it all together.
Yeah, we need a social base. We need a sound base. Right now, coronavirus, right?
Right.
one moment you're going, then the plugs are being pulled, then people have no jobs, then people are hungry, then people are suffering and struggling, right? It keeps changing. The economy is like this the whole time, right? It needs a stable base.
Very volatile.
And socially, it is not so stable now because people are suffering more now. You know, people are losing their jobs, or they can't work quite as much, or the market demand is not there for the shops to be open quite as much.
Yeah.
Salaries have been halved, shops are being closed. It is a difficult time right now, so we need to provide a strong social base that we can then build a stable economy upon. But it's like having the foundations that are shaking all the time. And this is what COVID is doing, right? It's constantly pulling one foundation and another, and now we're in a good period.
Wow.
But this is the period, you know, we're in the green, the green period now.
Which is pretty much, beautiful things happening right now. And as you said, Rasa, things changed. A lot of things did really change. So One Heart Bahrain right now came here to actually take action.
Yes, action.
And I love that. So how did it all start?
Well, how did it all start? It started as a very, just a personal pet project, if you like.
Okay.
I just got this idea, like, promote. It was actually going back a step before the kind of One Heart idea. What made me start this was because I used to drive around in my kind of, reasonable sized car, and I would go past these roadworks and I would look at the temperature gauge on my dashboard, and it would say 45 degrees, and I would see these workers out there, and I'm like, and I'd be driving my children to school. One of my daughters is here right now. I would drive them to school and I would say, hang on, am I the only person who's seeing these workers out there? And, it must be quite a tough existence,
And you move, you take action.
And I just wanted to bring awareness to all the people that exist in Bahrain. It's bringing love to everybody, saying, look at these guys, they're building the infrastructure of this country, right? They're building the infrastructure. Without these guys, they're beautiful people. They're building the infrastructure of this country. We have roads, we have systems, and we have, civil works to and so that's how it started.
I feel like pretty much you have so much to tell about this because you're so into it. You're so
passionate
and
about
so
it.
very indulged in it and immersed in it. So it's like it all started with you just wanting to take action and with goodwill, and I love that. And it's so contagious what you're doing right now. Honestly,
I'm glad.
I can tell right now. It's like just listening to you right now. It's like, wow, pretty much you're just pulling everybody
join
together.
us, right?
Well, pretty much. I was kind of like, oh my God, gravity. It's a lot, and I can feel the energy is so high.
Yeah.
Now, One Heart Bahrain, beautiful start.
Yeah.
Your mission, your goal is pretty clear, and we love that. We love that. And I'm sure you have a lot of activities going on. Tell us some of your activities that have taken place here.
Well, the way, I don't know, have you heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
I heard of it, didn't go
But you haven't gone into it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll explain to you. It's a triangle. But at the bottom of the triangle are our kind of basic needs for survival. We need food to eat, water, shelter, a roof over our heads. These are the basic needs. So what One Heart Bahrain does is, through our volunteers, requests come into us from different sides. But what we deal with first are the most urgent requests, because we're trying to build stability, right? Social stability. So the most urgent requests are the ones to keep us alive. So if people haven't been paid for a long time, they need food, right?
Right.
If somebody has broken their leg but their employer is not paying their salary, they need somebody to pay for their accommodation. We can't, unfortunately, nobody come to us for accommodation, because I know this is a billion request.
Oh, yeah, putting it like a public announcement, right?
Yeah. But we help at least laborers who just pay for a bed space. We help them if they are sick and they can't work, with things like that. Families in need, because we're about one human family, right? One humanity. So families in need, people with babies who haven't got enough money to buy milk powder for their babies and nappies and things like that, but especially the milk, the nutrition.
Right.
We need to keep them alive, right? So families, so this So those are the most kind of important
Activities
things.
pretty much
But then
together.
above that, yeah, exactly. But then the next level we're looking at, and this is, we'll come to that I'm sure later, where we want to get people's
Future plans, pretty much.
future plans, right?
Okay.
So we need to think about jobs, because the people that come to us for food, they also need jobs. We look at sometimes medical and dental care. We try to help, again, guys, small scale, because we rely on the generosity of the Bahrain public. So we're not there, we're not like major donors or whatever. We are Bahrain. We are Bahrain.
One heart Bahrain,
Yeah, we
exactly.
are Bahrain, and everybody does a small part. And so we try to help with small medical bills, things like that.
Right.
At the moment, you know, the Afghan refugee appeal that just went
Yeah.
round. We've inherited a mountain of second-hand
Oh,
goods,
wow.
because the charities were offered a lot of goods and they took a lot of goods in.
Amazing.
And then still a mountain of goods was left over because there was too much for the refugees.
Wow,
And
you're
so-
pretty busy. Like a lot is
Oh my
going on
God.
right now.
Yeah,
Well, I
so-
can just like, what can I say? What can I mention? What comes first or second? You're amazing. What's happening right now in Bahrain?
This
There's a
is
lot
why I
going
need
on.
help, right?
I can see like she can go forever because you've been pretty much with the goodwill and the action, and I love
Yes,
that.
yes, and we literally, we do, where other charities say, sorry, we can't help here, we say, okay, what is your problem? We'll try and help, and we'll try to build a solution around it.
Right.
We work with the general public, we work with businesses, with institutions.
Okay.
Bahrain Polytechnic have worked with us.
Right.
With supermarkets, Lulu, Dana Mall, Lulu is always provides us with our food box, and
Okay.
Atrium Mall, Lulu.
Big shout out.
A big shout out.
Yeah, okay.
No, because you know, these people also, you have to remember, they're not earning anything from this. They use their own resources to support us again as well. So
Yeah.
they do, you know, deserve a shout out. So yeah, there's so much. There's so
wow.
much.
Wow. Wow.
I've even lost track of your question now.
no, actually, you checked everything. But the thing is, what's happening here, you can just tell, not only what you said, is how you said it as well. At the same time, you can tell that your heart is definitely out there for the right cause.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's
for the
so
people.
much pretty much going on
Yeah.
over there, and you have a really like clear thought of what you want to do. Now, with all that being said, and I know there's a lot going on, but last views and last words to your viewers. How can they join you? What would you like to tell them? Last thing you want to leave this with?
Okay. Well, at the moment, as you've just discovered, we're going through this major growth spurt. And what we need now is we need people to join us. Now, volunteers have often come to us. That is not such an issue. But what we really need is we need help from people who can manage and who can lead alongside me, because we need to create systems. For example, now we're sitting on a mountain of goods, right? Secondhand goods.
Yeah.
We need to get those goods to the people.
Okay.
We have somebody kindly offered us a free store to put the
Okay.
boxes in.
Amazing.
There is no AC. There is no space. We can't get the stuff out. So, first request, if there's anybody with a storage facility out
Okay.
there, we need an AC storage facility
How can
where
they
we can
reach you?
start. Sorry?
How can they reach you?
They can reach us through Instagram or Facebook, or they're welcome to call me, but I don't know if I'm allowed to share my number here.
Well, Instagram for now is good.
Yeah, Instagram is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll find all the details on Instagram.
Definitely.
So yeah, we need a storage facility, and we need people who can lead. We need to build systems right now. For example, we need a stock system for our second-hand goods, because we want to do more than just give food. We want to be able, so we're getting requests from people who've been struggling for a long time. So we can also, besides food,
Okay.
we can also give them second-hand clothes,
Right.
shoes, and so forth. Obviously, having gone through a COVID cleansing process first. So we need to expand, and we need people who can help us build systems, tech guys, managers, people who can lead a food team, lead a second-hand goods team. We're also, I didn't mention this, but we're also expanding into legal services. So people who,
legal
sorry,
services.
there's about 9 subjects, and I can't
Okay,
remember
this
all
is
of them.
amazing. There's a lot going on.
So people who really do not know what their rights are, we work together with lawyers to provide them with services.
Wow.
But yes, we definitely need,
Bless you.
please, people who can manage and lead.
Okay, well, definitely we'll be keeping a close eye on the Instagram
Thank
account,
you.
pretty much, and we can help with everything possible. And we're definitely gonna reach you out. I'm sure a lot of people would love to just go there and help you with what you got going on over there. So
Thank you so
this
much.
has been a very inspirational talk, to
Oh,
be
thank
honest.
you.
Like just
Most
hearing
grateful
this.
for the
And we're grateful
opportunity.
for you actually for making this happen
Thank
and
you.
making, you know, One Heart Bahrain come to life.
Thank you.
It has been such an honor and
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you so much for being with us here on
Thank you.
Bahrain Now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, One Heart, One Bahrain with One Heart Bahrain took place right here on Bahrain Now. Well, they say the joy is in cooking for others. Let's see what our guest has to say about this. Executive chef and owner of La Vanille Bahrain and founder of EA Food Solutions, Chef Ilyas, welcome to our studio tonight.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. And like I've seen your work before, and I'm like, this is just not only food, this is just art right there.
Thank you.
This is
Thank you.
beautiful, all that got
Thank you.
going on right now there. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what's been going on.
First, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. So, my name is Chef Ilyas Abdelal. I'm a Bahraini. I graduate from Italy and Paris.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is what I do. This is my job. This is
Okay.
what I do for a living.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I'm a baker, I'm a pastry chef, and I'm a chocolate maker.
Okay.
I got all of these things through education. I went to cooking schools and graduated from cooking schools and been able to present all of these
Wow.
things that you see in front of you.
Not one, but schools.
Schools, yeah.
You went
not
to
one.
Italy and Paris.
Yeah, Italy and Paris.
So which came first?
First, I moved to Italy.
Okay.
So when I started my cooking journey, actually, I moved
Okay.
to Italy. At the time, I was 17 years old.
How
I
old are
believe.
you right now?
I'm 25 years
You're
old.
25,
Yeah.
17, went to Italy?
Yeah.
How would a 17-year-old Bahraini think of going to Italy? What
Yeah.
inspired you to do that?
So basically, all of these things started when my dad was owning a bakery
Okay.
in 2003. So I was just inspired with whatever I was looking. So when I was looking at it, I wasn't looking at it as a hobby. I was looking at it as a professional that I want to pick up.
Okay.
So to be honest, when I first entered to this industry, I didn't had any background in food at all.
At all,
I
okay.
never entered to a kitchen.
Okay.
So zero background, but I challenged myself. I wanted to pick up something unique in that
Okay.
in that age, you know, and I choose to follow my dad's steps.
At 17
At
years.
17 years. So I moved to Italy to start my career over there. I moved to Italy for one reason, because Italy has a huge history and they're still stuck with their traditional way of baking.
Love it when you say they're still stuck.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, still stuck, you know, in time.
And the way they create things, the way they work, it's like when I first started, I did my gelato certificate, which was ice cream making.
Okay.
So when I started, it was like chemistry. It is totally different level. So the way things were done, it was chemistry for me. So I did finished my certificate in gelato.
Okay.
And then I moved to Italian baking. So I was going to the uni during the bakery, and at the same time working in a bakery at the night shift, just to pick up the bakery things. And I
You were
worked
very busy.
Yeah, and I worked all of this time for free, just to gain the knowledge, just to understand how is the business running. So the chef, which was in the uni, told me, I own a bakery.
Okay.
So he just wanted to show me what's the difference between running a bakery and studying to be a baker, because
There you
it's
go.
completely different
Really?
roads. Yeah.
Although he's teaching that
Yeah.
over there, but it's like, hey, it's a different world out there.
Yeah, exactly. So I gained a lot of experience down in Italy. I studied a lot. I gained a lot of knowledge, a lot of recipes that I'm using today. So the knowledge, the most important thing is the knowledge to understand how ice creams are made, how gelatos are made, what's the difference between different kinds of ice creams, what's the ones that contains lactose, the ones that doesn't contains lactose, how to
Wow.
balance all of these things.
There are a lot of things going on.
Yeah. So it was a very interesting road. So here where I start picking up things, where I start getting more and more interested.
Okay.
And this professional, I say, it's not just entering in a kitchen and cooking, it's a lot of knowledge to take. So then I decided to move to Paris.
What made you do that? 'Cause as if Italy was not enough, it's like, okay, now let's go to Paris.
Yeah, because Paris was the stop where I saw that I could take it to a next step, because there things are done in a completely different way.
Okay.
The way they work on a simple product. Let me get you an example. When
Please do.
When we are talking about these croissants, for an example, when I'm looking the amount of work they're implementing,
I can
in
see,
it,
man.
Yeah, so it's how passionate they are, how they're respecting their culture, how they're respecting the way things are done.
Right.
They have a history, so generations by generations are following up. What is this product? I want to have it. So
Okay.
that's what I really appreciate. Things are sticking the way they are, and very technical, it's art for me.
I can see it
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now because, like, to be honest, this is the most aesthetical,
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
croissant I've ever seen
Yeah.
in my life.
Thank
Say it again. How do you say it in the French?
Croissant.
Croissant. Okay. You said it way more better than I do.
Yeah, I'm not that good, but I'm trying my best.
Did you have to speak French and Italian when you were there?
Yeah, I had to, but most of my cooking schools were in English.
Okay, thank
So-
God.
Yeah, thank God. So I did my internships, and I did worked in pastry shops, and I communicate in a normal way, just
Okay.
trying to catch up.
Sign
but-
language at some point, maybe.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it.
Just basic words and a
Okay.
way to communicate with each other.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
So
So yeah, I mean the croissant. I mean, so like there is a lot of details there, a
Yeah.
lot of lines, a lot of strips. You can tell that you spent some time
yeah, exactly.
making it, all together a
Exactly.
beautiful structure. So what's the process, if you can simplify it?
The process takes 3 days.
3 days.
3 days to come up with the beauty of this. I'm just gonna shortcut the process.
Sure.
The main thing about croissants is working with temperatures. So without knowledge, it's impossible to work this out. Let me give you a small example.
Okay.
Every time the weather changes, the whole process changes.
By the weather.
Yeah, by the weather, because humidity changes inside the room. Humidity and the prover changes. Everything changes. If we're mixing the dough in winter, it's a little bit drier and humidity, so the dough is going to turn sticky.
Huh.
Yeah. And the most important, how do we get these layers?
I
for an
would love
example?
to know that. Yeah.
So it's basically a dough and a butter and a dough.
Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
we need to maintain the temperature of the dough and the butter and not get them to combine. Once we get them to combine, we lose the layer and we lose the croissant.
Okay. So you're telling me during all the seasons we have here in Bahrain,
Yeah.
croissants that you produce
Yeah.
are different. So if I want to have it in January, I
Yeah.
won't have the same one in December.
Yeah, no, what I mean, you won't it's going to be the same, but
Okay.
the process of making it changes.
Oh wow.
So if as I said, the recipe changes, the temperature of the prover changes, the temperature of the baking changes, and the process time changes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What is the most difficult duration of time in Bahrain that it will take you to do the croissant in I would say, the most difficult time for it?
It's when the weather is changing to humidity, because humidity comes up. What happens? The dough gets soft, it gets sticky, we lose the layers. So we need to maintain the temperature of the kitchen. We need to maintain the recipe, for an example. We
Okay.
need to change the ratio of certain type of ingredients. How could we calculate all of these things? The most important thing is knowledge.
Wow.
With knowledge,
Wow.
you can deal with these kind of things, and that's what make many places turn to frozen croissants.
Yes, yes, and guilty as charged.
And they import it from all over. They import it from France. They import it from many countries, which
Right.
has big factories to do them. So the question comes here, is that why do people import them? Well, some people would say it is, as I mentioned, it's very difficult, it's
Right.
over costly, it takes a lot. Trust me, this is a low cost. The key for all of this is knowledge for me.
Right.
It's
Right.
not that I have a ready-made product, or for an example, a petit cooker, let us say,
Right.
to make a sponge. So we have them in industrial way. So these kind of things, they use them to do cakes, to do these kind of things in a commercial way, let me talk. So what takes to do these products is knowledge. Not if I use the ready-made mix means it's cheaper.
You know, as I'm just listening to you right now,
Yeah.
and I can tell one thing, you're a great teacher.
Thank you.
Because he said the word knowledge a lot. I'm like,
Yeah.
he really appreciate what he'd been learning, and he
Exactly.
just sees his knowledge as, you know, pretty much part of your life.
Exactly.
Which brings me to the next question.
Yeah.
You got classes.
Yeah.
You teach.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I teach in Bethel University for 2 years.
Okay.
I taught hygiene and safety and Arabic culture.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's why I'm very interested in culture, because culture is whatever history we have, whatever food history do we have. And I do cooking classes. I teach basic kind of things, basic products. Like
Okay.
it's more like a fun type of classes.
I need to
Where
check
you-
that out.
Yeah, where you enter, you have a basic knowledge about baking. You have a basic knowledge about how to do things from scratch, and this is
Okay.
the most important thing.
Okay.
So, for an example, macarons. For an example, French way of baking. Basically,
Okay.
I'm working. How to deal with a dough, just to give a basic recipes that can take you forward and build up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to take one of your classes.
Yeah,
Now.
sure,
I feel like
sure.
you know, for my next birthday,
Yeah.
get me a coupon with Ilyas chef cookery class.
Sure, no
I
worries.
won't do that.
No worries at all. no.
I cannot get enough
Yeah.
of your talking
Yeah.
experience. Like as you've been telling me about Italy and France, you actually took me there
Yeah.
with you in that talk. I can imagine you with an Italian baker
Yeah.
and all of that, and the accent and all of that. It's beautiful vibes.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, any last words to your viewers?
Yeah, I would just say appreciate these kind of things. It is a big difference between working with things on scratch. There is good places, there is a good chefs in
Right.
here that do work on these type of things. So just appreciate these kind of things, because it's not an easy process to do them.
No, they're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
You're
much
most
for your
welcome.
beautiful journey,
You're
for
most
giving us
welcome.
this beautiful vibes
Yeah.
right here on
Yeah.
Bahrain Now.
Thank you.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ilyas Abdelal, Chef Ilyas, has been telling us about his journey from Italy to France and all that with his beautiful journey in bakery and more. All that took place right here on Bahrain Now. Well, guys, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, featuring some amazing talents and all that, and along with amazing guests. As always, don't forget to reach out to our social media accounts shown below. I'm Bara Abdallah. Till next time, Bahrain, good night and God bless.